I'm Jon Buchanan. Now, across the last couple of episodes, we've done two separate things which we're going to bring together within this video. In the first of those episodes, I started experimenting with Sample Alchemy, looking at all of the ways that it's possible to take sounds and modulate them and get them moving in new and exciting ways. And then in a more recent episode, what I did was to build a kind of techno track, this techno track, in fact, out of bits of Apple Loop. And what we're going to do today is to bring a new sound source to this bit of techno, which is based on all of that movement within Sample Alchemy. If that sounds like your cup of tea, we should drink tea together. What I'm going to do is just play you this techno track to start with, and then we'll get into how we might bring a kind of rhythmical version of a Sample Alchemy patch to this project. It sounds like this without it. So that's where we left the techno track. Now, since then, what I've done is to discover one more audio loop here, system beeper beat. And this is going to be the sound that we're going to bring into Sample Alchemy to see what happens when we start bringing rhythmical things into that playback engine. So what I'm going to do is to just grab this sound. I'm going to just drag this into my project, take it over here to the track area. I'm going to drag and drop it into Sample Alchemy. And that is going to give us this new sound. And as ever, we know that if we click on A, what's going to happen is that it will play back. And at the moment, it's doing that through the granular engine, and it's doing that in classic mode, which means we're going to hear the whole of this loop. It's enormous. By the way, if you find that that's the case for you, click on these three dots here and come to global. And what we've got up at the top here is a volume sort of trim offset. I'm going to take this down quite a lot so that it's not so dominating. Once more with feeling. And there it was, the system beeper beat. Okay, well, as was true in the previous modulation video, what I actually want to do is to take us into additive resampling rather than granular. And what I'm also going to do, as before, is to take us into bow mode, which means that rather than playing the whole of this loop, we're going to be scrubbing over a small section of it. And immediately that does quite interesting things for beats. So we get these amazingly machine-like scrubs. And because the thing about a bow is that it's clocked to the tempo of the track that you're working on, it's going to be quite easy, I think, to find little machiney bits which are going to be of use to us. But what I'm also going to do is to bring in something else that we looked at within that video, is the idea of recording some motion. And I want to get 8 bars of this, I think, or certainly 8 beats of it. Let's find out. Yes, I think 8 beats of it is going to be more the thing. Let's not get too carried away. So I'm going to press the motion button, and what this is going to allow me to do is to record a pattern sequence for the motion that I was just experimenting with. The moment I click on source A, it's going to start recording, and I'm going to do a bit of that, and I am going to try and see if I can get locked into a little bit of a groove with it, and we'll just see whether or not something rhythmic emerges at the other end. Okay, so there's quite a lot. Let's have a listen to that. What I'm going to do is to set the duration of 8 beats. I want that to start at bar 1 and it's going to end at bar 9. And what we're then going to do is just simply just audition it. Right, it's absolutely enormous. The first thing I'm going to do is to EQ it. Sorry if it's just blown out your speakers. Once again, too late. I've done it now. Okay, it does feel to me like there's quite an interesting little groove in here. I'm going to just solo this and we're going to see what it sounds like. I'm going to record it up against the kick. Let's just put in a couple of bars of this. Yep, I really do like this. What I'm going to do next is just to make sure that that's completely quantized so that when it triggers, it's going to trigger absolutely in time. And I'm interested to hear it before we throw it into the whole mix, just with the kick drum for a moment. Let's have a listen to that section. Okay, what we're going to do now is to go back into Sample Alchemy. I know you want to hear it in context. I get it. I get it. Be patient. Calm down. It's coming, I promise. I want to hear it too. But no, we're going to be patient. What I'm going to do is to jump back in here and we're going to have a look, because we just have one sound source within this particular Sample Alchemy instrument. That does sort of feel like if we were to apply further modulation to this sound, it will be pretty dramatic. And for instance, one thing that we could do would be to say, okay, I'm going to target pan as the thing that I want to modulate. I'm going to come to the mod matrix. Because I've clicked on that parameter, pan is now listed. And what I'm going to do is to grab one of the LFOs. It feels like probably the bar long version of that will be the best one. And what I want to do is to set the depth to 100%. And what that's going to do is to give us movement from left to right across this playback. And what might happen if at the same time we put in a bit of tuning? That might be quite extreme. In fact, instead of tuning, because that's going to be in semitone steps, I'm going to choose the pitch variation dial instead. And I also want this to change. I'm also going to use an LFO, I think, but this time we'll go for something a little bit faster. Let's go for a half note, see what that sounds like. I don't think I want 100% depth, but you never know. Do I? Absolutely I do. Suddenly we've got this nice little ba thing happening right at the end, which is really good. And of course we could keep going. We could assign different controllers to this as well, different things that are going to interrupt this and do interesting things to it. I wonder what might happen. I wonder what might happen if I selected the number of partials. And what we did was to instantiate the modulation envelope, but with a slowish attack time, so we really get to hear that happen. Not 13 seconds long though, Jono, that would just be ridiculous. And then maybe a bit of decay. What I don't know is whether or not this is only going to trigger every 4 bars, because that's when I'm triggering the loop. We'll find out in a minute or two. And I'm going to just drop the sustain level. The great thing about this is that we have a chance to just try. If it goes wrong, what is lost? But what I'm going to do is to back down the start number of partials so that we get to hear the effect of this as it unfolds. Yeah, it's just jumping there too quickly. And that's because, of course, I'm looking at the wrong envelope. Silly me. You see, in getting carried away, I've got myself all excited. So I'm actually changing the amp envelope. Lesson learned. Let's come back to a really sharp attack and full sustain. And let's come back to the mod envelope. And again, once more with feeling. So this time I do want a sort of 2-second ramp at the start. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have that back down a little bit to a sustain level of about 70%. And we'll see what decay does too. Yeah, so sure enough, we're getting that effect and that's nice. But of course, because the note is held for 4 bars, we're only getting it once every 4 bars. So one thing I could do, let's just make this small for a minute so we can keep that on screen while I do this, would be to split this region in half so that it plays twice. I'm going to cut this at bar 7 and I'm going to choose to split this, which means that the note is going to play twice at bar 5 and at bar 7. And what that should mean is that we now get this every 2 bars, this movement. Let's just make it bigger again. And let's make it less extreme. So I want the overall number of partials to be a bit higher, and I maybe want the mod envelope to be a bit less extreme, and that should just make it a bit less. Well, it's not really doing that. I think it's only because the amount of travel here still includes all of these settings. Of course, no, it's because the envelope's too slow on the decay phase. Let's speed that up a little bit and drop that back. Are you still with me? Okay, so it does feel to me like that should be dropping away more than it is. And now it is. So I've just had to play with those settings in real time, and that feels really good, and we've got that pan happening as well. Okay, this is the moment that you wanted. I think you wanted it. I know I do, which is that we're going to put this in context. But I'm going to just tease you a little bit by introducing it for just the second half. So I'm going to move these along. We're going to hear the whole of this track, and we'll have 4 bars of it without our new Sample Alchemy part. And then the system beat per beat will become more than it ever hoped it could be. Like that, but it's definitely made me think of one more thing. So of course there are any number of things that we could do to make this less significant than it is right now, and if you've watched the video about how I made this track in the first place, you will know that I was incredibly selective about the bits that I'm using within it. A couple of things spring to mind. So the first of those is that what we could do with a sound like this would be to gate it. I'm going to come to, in fact, look, the noise gate is there already. If it's not for you, of course, these days we can just search for it. So you can just put in the gate, and here is the noise gate. And I'm just wondering what might happen if we applied a volume threshold here and just see what gets excluded when we push the threshold upwards. Remember, what gates do is they select loud and quiet bits, and anything that's too quiet gets gated, gets cut out of the mix. Anything which is loud enough opens the gate, and therefore we can hear it. At minus 50 dB, we're going to hear all of it. But as I start to increase the threshold, bits of the loop will disappear. That's amazing. I really like that. And the other thing, I did mention 2 things spring to mind. What I'm going to do for just a moment, I'm going to bypass the noise gate. And then what I'm going to do is to just bounce this in place for a second. And the reason that I want to do that, I just want one file per region. That's going to give me 2. I think we just want 1 file overall, is because what this doesn't yet have is the 1/16D swing value that I applied to the beat when I made this project in the first place. And I wonder what might happen if we do that. So I'm going to just call this Sample Alchemy Chaos, and I'm going to just print that. And then what we're going to get is one lovely audio file. We'll mute the original. And now what should happen is that we've got this sitting here, and I'm just wondering, this might not be great, but you never know. I'm going to just quantize that. So I've applied my 1/16 D swing, which is happening in all of the other beat loop bits. Let's just hear it against the kick drum for a moment. I really like that. New ways of being able to take bits of Apple Loop and then experiment with these crazy, extraordinary ways of manipulating them. Now, if you are trying to follow this video step by step and hoping that this bit of audio is going to turn out exactly the same way for you as it has for me within this video, it's not going to, because Sample Alchemy is so unbelievably touchy. And what I mean by that is, even if you attempted to follow exactly the movement that I have within the kind of automation writing, motion writing element of that, it will turn out differently every time. I've had a go at playing around with this technology, as you might imagine, several times, and I cannot make it do the same thing twice. And at times that can be frustrating, and at other times it basically means that every single piece of music that you could experiment with this technique is going to be unique. It's going to be different. And that's exactly why we make music, isn't it? So that we've got new things, new surprising things coming up every single time. So of course, all that really remains for me to do here is to make sure that my project knows that this is a beat loop by making it the right color and putting it into the right place. But otherwise, what we've got is a brand new bit of beat loop which has mined the kind of capabilities that we've looked at within Sample Alchemy as well. It's almost like two worlds colliding to produce beautiful musical chaos. And that's exactly what this channel's about, really.